Yeah.
Okay, we're live. Hey, everybody, it's Cheryl Lawson and the Social Media Tulsa gang here with Patrick Allman. Hey, Patrick.
How you doing today?
I'm good. Hey, everybody, you want to introduce yourself as we get started with our Hangout on air?
Sure thing. You want me to go first?
Sure.
Okay, my name is Patrick Allman. I'm one of the speakers at Social Media Tulsa, coming up March 21st and 22nd. By the way, Cheryl, did you see I had the hookup for you back here?
I see that. That's pretty awesome. Well, I was going to ask you about that, but I, of course, wanted to wait until we were on there.
Exactly. So, yeah, I'm going to be speaking about Google+, and we're going to be using Google+ Hangouts to talk about Patrick, who's speaking about Google+ here on March 21st and 22nd. If you want more information, go to socialmediatulsa.org.
That is freaking awesome, by the way. Thank you so much. And which is weird, we're on Google+, talking about Google+, doing a Google+ Hangout. So we might be a little obsessed.
Exactly. Here we go.
Okay, who's next? Who's next?
How about I'm Ruth Ann. I'm Ruth Ann Weisner from Raw Marketing, also a speaker at Social Media Tulsa. And yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. We're having quite the time already.
I love seeing your tweets, and Ruth Ann is the master of the meme. I'm gonna put it out there. And there's Cynthia. I'm just gonna put it out there. Every day there's a new meme that comes across. Hey, oh my gosh!
She's
Angela,
in her car.
are you driving?
I love it.
She outdid me.
It was awesome.
You win.
On.
Okay, I thought tweeting and driving was the problem. Now we're going to have Google Hangout.
Hangouts, yeah.
Well, if there was a winner, you just won the Hangout. That's awesome.
I thought you might get a kick out of this.
Yeah, it's pretty rocking. Okay,
It's just the old neighborhood.
All right. Okay, so Ruth Ann is here, Patrick's here. Cynthia, you want to introduce yourself?
I am Cynthia Simmons, also known as Sim Sings Jazz. I will be the entertainment at the Thursday night meet and greet at the social media conference. So, yeah, rock on, Angel.
I love that woman.
I'm thinking I'm going to need to hear a duet or something.
I got that part down.
Driving. God help.
Wow, and I'll miss Thursday night too. Doggone it.
No, you can't miss Thursday night, Patrick. You gotta get in early enough.
I'll try. I fly in. My plane lands like 5 o'clock Central, so it'll be hard.
All right. Well, get there. Get there when you get there. Okay. So Angela,
Or
you're playing, and I think till 7:30, or until you guys decide to stop playing.
yeah, there we go. Yeah, so you get some of it better.
Yeah. So yeah, you're flying into Tulsa?
No, I'm flying back. I leave and fly back into Oklahoma City, and then we haven't decided if we're coming up Thursday night, which would make it kind of hard, or Wednesday night or Thursday morning.
Okay. Cool. Well, you gotta get there so you can hang out with everybody Thursday. So try to do
Really, like a real world hangout.
Yeah, like
Okay.
hang
Yeah,
out.
like in real life.
What is that?
Okay. You know what, Angela? You want to introduce yourself before you get pulled over?
You mean this kid?
Yeah.
My name is Angel Adams.
Lord, why am I calling her Angela? Or Angel.
You know what? It's all right. I'm gonna call you Mama.
That's who I am.
My mama calls me Angela, so it works.
Good. All right, tell us who you are.
Angel Adams, and I right now driving my daughter home from school, and I will be joining you at the conference with my bells on.
And Angel's going to be talking about crowdfunding.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to come and sit down and talk with you, babe.
And
Say that again?
Fund.
It's really weird because I'm actually watching Sarah's stream. 'Cause
Oh, how funny.
and it's got Patrick in there, and I'm like, what's Patrick doing over there? Anywho, okay, so Sarah is Sarah M. Hill on Twitter, so she's no sound, but she's chatting with us in the chat. So, Angel, you don't try to do that.
I'm good now. Now I'm in the driveway.
All right, cool. Okay. You were gonna sit in the car. Okay, so let's get started. And before we went on the air, Patrick was giving us a little demo of how we got these little blue lines across the screen, if you can see those. So Patrick, if you want to just first start out with showing us how to add the lower 1/3 and tell us why it's called that, if you know, and just kind of give us a quick demo of that, and then we'll get started.
Okay, well, for everyone that's watching, just so you know, this technology that's working here, what Cheryl did is she started what's called a Google Plus Hangout. And this is mainly for those people that are watching the recorded version. She did a Google Plus Hangout, and this is one of the cooler features of the Google Plus social network. And the Google Hangouts allow you to do basically interactive video chats with, I believe it's up to 10 people can interact, 9 plus the host, and then as far as we know, an unlimited number of people can watch when you just go to youtube.com/the channel name. And when you're in a Google Plus Hangout, Google gives you all these cool tools to manipulate the Hangout, make it look professional. And one of them is the Hangout Toolbox. And I'm going to screen share my screen right now. And this Hangout Toolbox, I saw that. This Hangout Toolbox allows you to manipulate the video image. Oh, we lost somebody there.
I think we went in the house.
And so on the left side of my screen, there's a very thin bar, and when you mouse over the bar, the icons change color. And about the third or fourth icon down is a little orange one called Hangout Toolbox, and you click on that, and you get the area over on the right side of your screen expands and allows you to basically configure that bar. It's called the lower 1/3 because it basically takes up approximately the lower 1/3 of your screen. But what you can do is you can basically configure a couple of lines of text. You can configure the color. So, for example, right now mine says 1F38DD with blue, which is by default. You can pick the country. I'm going to pick Angola, excuse me. You can turn on the clock, and you can actually do like a custom graphic overlay. And last week when we were doing the Hangout, we talked about the fact that once you configure all this, you can actually save how it looks, so you can reuse different lower 1/3 toolbars depending on what you're doing the Hangout for. If we're doing it for Social Media Tulsa, if you're doing it to coach a business client, things like that. And so you can configure all that. You can also do like a completely custom graphic one, and save all those. And then what you do is you come over here and you turn on. I can't do it right now. I guess I can. I can turn on the lower 1/3 and see if it shows up here. Did my lower 1/3 show up?
I think so. We still have your screen share, so we can't see it.
Okay. So, right. So you can.
Hey, let me welcome everybody who's just joined us in the Hangout. We've got a full house here, Patrick. While you were doing the demo, we got a full house. Hey, Daniel.
Hey, how's it going?
It's good. Or Danny, I'm sorry. I should have looked at how you spelled your name on there. All right, somebody else.
Angel just joined back in.
Is that John?
Google Hangouts have this notorious habit of knocking
That's John.
Knocking off the last person that joins when someone new joins. I've seen it in Hangout after Hangout over and over and over. This happens.
Angel's back. I think Angel's back, but in the driveway in her car.
In your car.
I love it.
And somebody else was saying hi there, Cheryl.
Oh,
It's
hey,
warm.
Is that Stephanie?
Yes.
Hey!
It's my first Google Hangout.
Hi,
Hello. What?
Oh.
Oh.
Who said something? Oh, I think Cynthia was saying hi.
Oh,
I said it's my first Hangout too. Yeah. Ooh, feedback.
this is really cool. I'm acting worthy.
For those of you that are kind of using the microphone, the speaker, the public one, you might want to see if you can find some kind of headset or headphones, because our computers are notoriously bad for feedback if you don't have a good microphone headphone setup.
So highly recommended to get an external microphone. I think last week Patrick and I were kind of showing off our microphones, but right? So I'm not dragging my microphone back and forth from the camera.
You got to lift weights to carry this thing.
I don't
I have my webcam.
So if you use a different microphone, whether it's headset or buy one of these little.
Okay, Cheryl, now you're just showing off.
It is
Seriously.
not that.
I have
We
a
don't have
microphone
fancy
like this
equipment
big.
like that, Cheryl.
I've got like this microphone, and Cheryl whips out this,
Like radio
WKRP.
station microphone.
Broadcasting live from
Live, exactly.
I can't get my lights to work, but you will hear me. You might not be able to see me, but you will hear me.
Sorry. I just have microphone envy.
Well, I'll have to bring the mic so everybody can oogle over it to the conference. So, Daniel, you didn't have to change because I called you Daniel. Hey, Daniel, why don't you introduce yourself real quick? And I think all of the speakers are in the house, so please introduce yourself.
Sure. So I'll jump in. Hi, everyone. I'm Danny Maloney. I'm one of the co-founders and the CEO of Pin League. And we're based in Oklahoma City, if you haven't heard of us. But we're basically building a marketing platform for Pinterest. So we've got, at this point, I don't know, a little over 400 or so brands using it and about 70 agencies, give or take. So, good early progress, but we're still building. We're around for about a year so far. But we're excited to be coming and chatting at Tulsa, too.
Awesome. Welcome.
Hey, Daniel, I was speaking last night at Rococo's down here, and a coworker there of Pin League attended, and we were chatting afterwards.
I think that might have been Jessica.
Right, yeah. I was speaking down here at a social media roundtable, and you and I met at a government roundtable here a while back, right?
Yep. Yeah, that was time's flying by. That was probably 3 months ago or so by now.
Yep.
Yeah, how you doing?
Oops, sorry. So one question, Patrick, I'll ask you, since we're talking about Google Plus on Google Plus. What do you think? I know your blog is Stop Doing Nothing, and
right.
A lot of people are missing the boat on Google Plus. If there's one thing that you would say for a brand or a personal brand to get started with Google Plus, what would it do? What would it be?
The one thing I guess I would say, well, first of all, Stop Doing Nothing is one of my blogs, and the technical side is allaboutfocus.com, and I'll put that link in the chat window. And for those of you that don't have a chat window open, that's, again, the top icon on the left-hand side of your screen, and that way we can share information over on the right-hand side. That's my technical blog, allaboutfocus.com. And the one thing I would say about the Google Plus network is that I'm really enjoying seeing the fact how it changes the search results. When you're logged into Google, and most of the time if you have a Gmail account or a Google Apps account, you're logged into your Google account while you're searching, and your search results are changed based on what your friends are doing and also how content is associated with your Google Plus account. So I'll give you guys a little bit of an experiment, and you can do this right now or you can do this later. This is one of my favorite things. Hop over to Google if you get a chance, and Google my name, Patrick Almond, PatrickAllmond. I'll put it over here in the chat window also. I'm not doing this for my ego. That's later. But
This is just a great way to have 2,000 people search you.
Exactly, yeah. And even type bad things about me. But go ahead and Google my name, if you will, and
yeah. You're everywhere.
I'm waiting for the search results. So about the 4th or 5th entry down, You know what? Let's look at the one. Yeah, the one that says National Keynote Speaker Patrick Almond. And it has my picture next to it, and it tells you how many Google Plus circles I'm in. Are you guys seeing that?
Yeah, I'm going to share my screen here real
Okay.
quick, so if they don't see it, they can see that.
Right. So because Cheryl and I are connected in Google, well, first of all, the big part that she's seeing on the right-hand side, she's seeing that because we're connected on Google Plus. But I'm more concerned about the small little picture she has right there. And if you really squint hard, you can see that it says, this content is by Patrick Almond, and the Patrick Almond is a hyperlink. And it says how many circles I'm in, and it says more by Patrick Almond, plus there's a picture there. And the reason that's showing up that way is that what Google allows you to do now, and please take note of this, if you have a blog at all, you need to be doing this. Google allows you to associate your Google Plus account with any content that you produce on the internet. So I don't want to get into the technical side of it, but on my blog, and actually I'm going to share a video here with you shortly of how you can do this to your blog. On my blog, hidden in the source code, hidden in the super secret HTML that you can't see, there's something in there that says the author of this blog is Patrick Almond, and here's a precise link to his Google Plus profile. You change that, and then after Google recrawls your site, however often it does, every week, every 2 weeks, every month, or whatever, Google will eventually pick that up, and then your search results are enhanced like that. Your picture, your Google Plus picture gets next to your search results. Your name becomes a hyperlink, and people can click on that link and get more search results by you. And it also, obviously, by the number of circles, tells people, quote unquote, how popular you are.
And you're saying,
go ahead.
Yeah, and how would you add that into your the HTML code of your blog? Because I have a blog as well, but I'm not very technical savvy when it comes to understanding code and things like that. Is there a plugin that we can use, or maybe you have a tutorial on one of your blogs, and I'll have to go check it out.
Funny you should ask that. Over in the chat window, which you have open, right?
Yeah.
In the chat window, I pasted a link to a YouTube video that I did a while back called about 3 things about reputation management, and go watch that later. And one of the things I do in there is I actually zoom in and I show you the HTML, how I altered it, and I use WordPress. So yeah, there's a WordPress plugin for it.
I have a self-hosted one too.
Right. So you do the WordPress plugin. In the WordPress plugin, you paste in a link to your Google Plus profile, and then it alters the HTML and associates it. And it doesn't show up immediately because Google doesn't crawl your site every day. But in a couple of weeks, you're going to get the search results like I got right there. And it also does it for your YouTube content. So on the first page of my search results, I don't have any YouTube content. Well, actually, no, I do have a couple of down there. But it also associates your Google Plus account as the author of your videos on your YouTube channel, if it's the same Google account.
right.
Awesome. Well, I will definitely be watching that because I have a YouTube channel as well. So
Right, so that-
thank you for
If you
that.
have the chat window open on the right-hand side, so Patrick has added a link to his blog, and then also to the YouTube video that he's talking about, and which is really good. And if you're using WordPress, I mean, our conference is going to be a lot of WordPress because I think just about all of us are using WordPress. Plus, we have another speaker talking about WordPress twice during the conference. So, and then Patrick just added his YouTube channel. So, Patrick, here's the question that a lot of people ask, right? I have Facebook, I have Twitter, I have YouTube. Why do I need Google Plus, and how do I find that kind of time?
The one reason I would say why you need Google Plus, because I can give you 15 reasons, but Google owns us when it comes to search results. I don't care if Facebook just released a social graph search. I don't care if Yahoo got a new CEO. I don't really care what's going on around the world. Google is and will continue for a while to be the #1 search engine out there. I don't know if you look at your analytics. When I look at my analytics, the amount of people that I get from a Google search engine versus a Bing or a Facebook or a Twitter, you can add up like number 2 through 10, and it still doesn't add up to the number one that I get from Google. And Google for a while has tried to come up with a good social network, and they have failed a couple of times. Go Google Wave. And I think Google finally has it right. And so what you're going to see more of is the social part of it integrated with the search results. And I suspect, I don't see it yet. Actually, no, I do see a little bit. I take that back. Is you're going to see your search results enhanced by what your friends like. You know, just about every piece of content and every web page right now, you can put a +1 next to, and you know, if you have a like button on your website, that kind of helps you over in Facebook world. But everyone's spending their time over in Google, you know, Googling stuff, and so when you start +1ing, I think I just invented a new verb, +1ing. Yeah, content and web pages and stuff, that's going to affect your search results. And so Cheryl was doing her screen share for the while, and I don't know if it showed it or not, but as it's gonna show people in her search, it's gonna show people in her social network that like certain pieces of content more than other pieces of content.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I think the one of the key things is search.
Right.
The other thing is, I don't know, it may just be me, but I think people are having more conversations, right, and getting more interactions here.
Yeah, it's interesting. We all get social media burnout on any given platform. You know, you hear people all the time saying they're abandoning Facebook. Mr. Brogan tried it for a while, and he came back. Everyone's getting burnt out on Facebook because of the advertising that's just creeping into our lives. And so people are looking for something new and better and different. So that's helping Google+. Something else I say about Google+, is what Google has done, in my opinion, is they've been really smart, and they kind of sat back and watched what some of the other networks are doing, and they've looked at their mistakes, and that's a really smart thing to do. You don't have to be first to win, and so when Google comes up with things like the communities and the business pages, they're doing it based on watching other people screw up the concept. So you know, if you have, I'm sure Cheryl's got a couple of Google+ communities out there for Social Media Tulsa. Look at those, join those. You have a couple of those, right, Cheryl?
What's that?
Google+ communities?
Oh, yeah. There is a Social Media Tulsa community on Google+. I'll add the link. And I think everybody on here is probably in it. But, yeah. So, yeah, I'll add the link here. And, you know, I don't know. I don't like... Well, I say I don't like. I love Google+. I'm not finding that communities, and that's maybe just me, but communities are doing the same thing here as maybe what groups are doing on Facebook, right? I think groups on Facebook are better than pages on Facebook, for at least in my experience, because I think groups, people actually like to communicate and want to talk. With
right.
Pages, that somehow they feel like, well, the person on the page is some, you know, big corporation in the sky, but on groups, people are able to be a little bit more personable. Now on Google+, communities, I don't think you're getting that much because so many people spent so much time creating really great circles.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So now we all have these great circles. I have a Tulsa circle. I have a circle for photographers. I have a circle with people who I talk about my dogs with, which that could be everybody. But still, that's a different story. I have a circle where, you know, I have foodies. You know, I mean, so there's circles really got specific and tight and really close. And then communities, I think this is more of the same until I and other people figure out how to make communities more specific and personable as well. So, like, we have a speakers community, which I think is beneficial for me to talk to the people who are speaking. Is anybody else using communities in their own way?
I've got one or two, I think. I've got one definitely for Stop doing nothing. I think for focus, all about focus, I created a company page, and then for stop doing nothing, I created a community, and I might have 10 or 12 members. But to tell you the truth, Patrick spends a lot of his time in his Google Plus stream with his circles, just like you said. Excuse me, and over in Facebook groups. And I know we're talking about Google Plus, but you're right, Cheryl. When it comes to Facebook groups, excuse me while I choke. Just about the only reason I get on Facebook right now is because I joined a couple of really tight-knit internet marketing groups, and these things are just going 24/7. If I'm not sleeping, I can get up in the morning and join any Facebook group, and there's tons of conversations going on that are right in my niche. So, yeah, Cheryl is 100% right on there.
Sarah posted earlier. She posted one person's screw up is another person's lessons on what not to do, which I agree that I think Google really did with Google Plus. And by not asking grandma and auntie and all your friends from Facebook to come over to Google Plus, they kept it a place where people could escape to. And so you don't have the barrage of people but that's also a challenging piece. And then Sarah also just wanted you to know that she did not personally choke you.
She did the Darth Vader thing. Your lack of faith in my plan is your downfall.
I told you girls have powers.
No, they don't.
Yes, we do.
Hey, John, welcome.
You're welcome, girl.
John, we didn't get you to introduce yourself. Would you introduce yourself and say hi? John? Is this thing on?
Yeah, is it really? No, I'm John Taylor. I've got a couple of names online. You'll find me at JTT USA, and you'll also find me at Tulsa Jazz because I do a lot of jazz marketing in the Tulsa area. I have a jazz blog at tulsajazz.com that kind of has centralized the jazz market in the Tulsa area, and I also promote and produce shows. So that's what I do.
Wonderful. Welcome.
Cool.
So, Patrick, if you had one, let's say we have musicians, right? We have Cynthia on, who is a performer, John, who is a promoter and promoter of performances, Angel, who is a performer and musician. How would you say Google Plus works for that particular market and music industry?
There's a couple of different ways I can see it. Number one, you want to really keep one of the best ways to grow a fan base is to get your existing fans to grow your fan base for you. Nothing is better than viral traffic on the internet, and so you can create a community of someone that likes your particular kind of music and likes to go hear you play. And then what I would do is I would connect a bunch of events with that community, because I can believe you can do that on a community, create events which list your performance locations, dates and times. And then I think something that would be really cool, Cheryl, is to see a jazz person when they're either working on a piece or they're considering a new piece or they're practicing to throw up a quick Google Hangout, maybe record a little bit of video of that and get their fans' opinions on what they think about this new piece that they might be working on. Or I've heard of some groups when they're practicing, maybe putting up like a practice session up live on a Google Hangout. I've even heard about musicians collaborating across the internet using Google Hangouts.
Oh, no, that's cool.
I'm going to post a link to. I'm going to post a link to a chick that I think is doing really well on Google Plus. Her name is Daria Musk, and M-U-S-K. I'm going to post a link to her Google Plus page over in the chat. And she became a bit of a Google Plus sensation. And basically, she just started holding live Google Plus Hangouts / concerts. And she would play her music, and as many as people who could joined in. And then, of course, the more Hangouts you have and successful Hangouts you have, the more people Google will allow to have on. So, right now we can only have 7 or 9 or how many ever we're getting, and we keep knocking Angel off for some reason. But once you start having successful ones and people are responding, all of a sudden you can have more people. But she just was having live concerts, and now she's now even performed at Google because of it. So I definitely think doing live shows, whether it's in your living room or at the venue, is a really good idea.
Yeah. Are there any planned Google Hangouts during the conference, or are those just going to kind of happen organically?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Maybe.
I think one might start being planned.
What?
We might start planning one.
Oh, well, see?
We should.
Yeah, and that's it's. We got to be careful about using up the Wi-Fi bandwidth, but yeah, heck, I'm all for it for those people that can't attend this.
Here's the thing we just announced the other day. Verizon is on board. They're bringing hotspot for us, so we can have Verizon hotspot and the hotel Wi-Fi. So that's a really exciting thing for our little conference, to get Verizon on board and to get them to bring us some high speed.
Well, sure. I don't think it's going to be a little conference much longer. It sounds like it's growing more and more every year, and that's a really exciting thing.
I hope not. I hope it stays. I hope it stays weird. I don't want to be like Austin. I want to stay weird. I hope it grows for sure. I don't
want to stay weird.
I want it to stay weird. Where can you go to see the group we put together? Nowhere.
That's true.
Really quick, I also want, for those of you, the recorded people and the people watching live, to know the difference. There's different types of Google Hangouts. We're talking about the different types of Google Hangouts. Yep. You can have kind of small one-on-one Google Hangouts, which are private, that maybe you might consider using this for like a coaching session. I'm in the self-improvement business also, and I hear a lot of other self-improvement coaches using this for doing their worldwide one-on-one coaching sessions. You can do kind of a group Google Hangout, which is you do it, you fire it up, you have the meeting, and you shut it down, and you're done and over with. And you can do the wham bam big giant super pretty cool Google On Air Hangout, which is what Cheryl does. And the On Air actually broadcasts it live. So if you can't make it into the conference, you can go to her TV station on the internet, which is youtube.com/
Party Aficionado.
Right.
Which
so
I actually spelled Party Aficionado wrong when I set up my account. Yeah.
So hey, it gets the job done. But so at the bottom of the
link to it.
At the bottom of the screen, you can see the fact that we have 10 total people in here, but we could get a couple 100,000 people worldwide on YouTube watching this and not interacting. So there's a lot of people also using this for webinars instead of like GoToMeeting or GoToWebinar. And another benefit about making it a Google Plus on-air hangout is that YouTube is actually recording this at the same time. So as soon as Cheryl gets done and she ends the Google on-air hangout, YouTube has to go through a little bit of processing, but then it becomes an available video. So no longer do you have to worry about the post-processing and the uploading and the rendering. It's being recorded, right now.
And the other thing I found out after our hangout last week was because we actually went live when we were doing all the kind of, how do you do this? And is this thing on kind of stuff? We spent about 30 minutes doing that. And so Google Edits or YouTube Edits allow you to go in and edit the video after it's up, and you can just a cut in the front and end at the end, or you can even add, do all the other things that Google editing lets you do. But if you go to youtube.com/edit.
Okay.
Editor. Hold on. Let me see.
I think it's edit or editor. You're right. What that means, Cheryl, she discovered something really cool. Is I do a lot of YouTube video editing, and with YouTube, you can add hotspots in your video to link to different things. You can edit that live from YouTube. So that means you can do some post-production work on a Hangout. For example, I could do something really cool when my video's up here. We have to play with it, but I could make a link almost on one of these slides back here behind me and maybe link that to socialmediatulsa.org.
Sweetness.
Yeah.
Hey, so, Daniel, you're our Pinterest guy, analytic-wise. is there any numbers that show that videos on Pinterest get any kind of linkage, or are people gravitating to videos as well as photos on Pinterest?
Yeah, I mean, it is picking up in the share over time, but that said, images are still by far the dominant use case. So, videos, the pins we're tracking, videos are still only like less than 1% of all the pins that we're tracking. It's predominantly image-based today, but that number is slowly creeping up. I think, I don't know if you've all seen, but Pinterest is going through a redesign process now. And,
Yes.
I think as they're doing that, they're making some changes. One is commenting and discussion is going to become much more visible. They're also looking at trying to expose more other content and certain types of content, and then I think probably a phase 2 of that is they're going to try to figure out how to make video more discoverable on the site, because right now it's kind of, it's hidden and it's not really a core use case. So I think they're working on it, but today it's honestly kind of minimal.
That's awesome. So, I mean, there's just another kind of place to think about content, right? So if you're doing Hangouts and you're creating, so if you're one of those people that says, I don't have any more time, so decide that the Hangouts, right, the Google Hangout is where you're going to go and rock this out, or Google Plus is where you're going to go rock it out, and then you can then take that content and share it on your blog, on Twitter, on Pinterest, and whatever, and then, wherever is getting the most traction for you, then you can start building on that piece, right? I mean, you don't have to be everywhere. That's just because I am, and Patrick is, and Ruth Ann is, and John is, and Cynthia is. Just because the people in this Hangout are everywhere.
Right.
Everywhere.
Here's I'm going to tell you guys something a little bit about content reusability. I'm really big into reusing and repurposing my content. And so, and I advise this to a lot of people that I'm in NSA with, and I say video is the absolute best place to start. If you're going to create content, start with video, because this is why. Because you have the video. Let's say you never even use the video. You have the video recorded, and you have the choice to use the video, slice it up, do whatever you want to with it. You can then use a video audio editor and strip out the audio, and guess what you have? You have the audio for a podcast all of a sudden. Okay, so you've got 2 uses out of it, and you know what you then do? You then find one of these places that'll transcribe your audio really cheap for like $1 a minute. Guess what you have then? You have a blog post, or you have 5 blog posts. So you can take that video and slice it, dice it, and reuse it several different ways. You record one 5-minute video, you then have a 5-minute video, a 5-minute podcast, and several good paragraphs of WordPress blog content.
There it is. I love it. And YouTube also has a transcribe part, but it's kind of, if you use Google Voice, it's kind of like that.
Yes. It gets you started, and you can download the file and you give it to your transcriptionist, and they have to clean it up. But she's right. It is nowhere near English.
If you use Google Voice, that the one of my favorite Google Voice calls. I had a guy call me. His name was John Truba, and Google Voice said, "Hey Cheryl, it's John Travolta calling," and I was like, "Really?"
Did you get excited, Cheryl?
I was like, "This is pretty awesome." So needless to say, like Patrick said, go to Elance or freelancer.com or find your local transcribe person and get somebody else to do it. But that's really a cool way to.
Yeah, I'm going to post a link in here of the service that I've used and I recommend. It's called SpeechPad. And they do it for $1 a minute if you're okay with like 48-hour to 72-hour turnaround. And then I think if let me see, it's $1. It's $1 a minute if you're 1 week turnaround, $1.50 for 48 hours, and $2.50 if you want 24 hours.
That's pretty awesome. Hey, I'm going to share that with one of my clients who needs that service. So that's awesome. Thank
And I hate to type. Here's, you don't know something about it. I hate to type, but I love to talk. And so I could, if I had my money tree flowing in the backyard, I could just sit there and record all my blog posts and say, "Hey, SpeechPad, go do those for me," and then get my assistant. Wouldn't that be nice? To put those up on my WordPress site.
Right. And like you said, one video can be 2 or 3 blog posts.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, what we were, I mean, just something that we're thinking about at Pin League in terms of reusing content, because we haven't done a lot of webinars over time, but because of this on-air feature now, what we're thinking is we're going to start doing webinars and weekly, basically, screen share demos for customers. Make all of those on-air, so it's like, okay, we've got the YouTube video then, do the transcription, then, with the transcription, basically pull out the major chunks in terms of feature functionality and each question that's asked and do an independent blog post about each one, because then we've already got part of the content written. Then take those questions and drop them on Quora with links back to the video with, because on YouTube you can embed a video with a time marker to go to a specific spot in the video. So embed it with the time marker to go back to that spot in the video, and then pin the video to Pinterest too. So it's like, we end up with 3 or 4 different platforms worth of content. And so, I mean, this is something we're just starting to do now, but it seems pretty exciting because if you invest an hour, maybe you've got a total of a half-hour publishing time afterwards, but you've just multiplied your content, 10 times over, right?
Beautiful.
So, yeah, the Hangouts seem like they're going to be really powerful for webinars, especially.
Yep. And I for one of my clients, I do an interview, live hangouts on Google Plus, and so we get a medical expert or some other kind of expert, and they answer. Excuse me, now I'm choking. They answer their frequently asked questions, right? So everybody has their list, so we answer, especially for medical people that answer the same questions over and over and over again. And so if you could solve those, answer those questions for people getting started, what would they be? And then some people smarter than me and can code better than I can have created sort of a Quora site on their website. So now you can type in the question and it takes you directly to the video answer from that person. Right? So I love the Quora idea. I think that's really smart, Daniel.
And not to give away trade secrets, but for us, I mean, we actually see a surprising amount of traffic from Quora. Wow. And the reason for it is there's one question on there that's something like, what Pinterest analytics solutions are available? And I had posted an answer months ago that's the #1 response on Quora, and because of the way they've set up their metadata, that response is the metadata on the search result within Google, and it's a page 1 result. So we get a ton of traffic through that. Wow. So yeah, we're thinking Quora could end up being pretty powerful for highly targeted questions just because of the SEO benefit of it.
Yeah, it's amazing where traffic comes from. I mean, you can take all the classes you want in the world, and all of a sudden you look at your analytics and you're like, really? That's my top search result? Cheryl, I don't even have to tell you. You know what the top keyword is that brings traffic to my site?
Yes, I know.
You already know what it is. I'm like, how the heck did that happen?
Yep.
What is it?
It's a person's name who we will not mention. It's one of those kind of like Voldemort. It is the name that shall not be named.
What was the thing that you say in the mirror 3 times?
Yeah.
Oh, Candyman.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't.
Name that shall not be named, but because that person was kind of trying to infect a lot of people, Patrick created a blog post about it so that anybody else who got contacted, let's just call it an internet troll, right?
Yeah.
And anybody else who got contacted by this person and then Googled their name, they immediately get to Patrick's page. What's interesting, Patrick, is the number last year after our conference. What was funny? The #1 search field for Social Media Tulsa conference was the social shower curtain.
Oh, nice!
So hey, I'll take links from wherever I can get them.
So you bought that domain name, I hope, socialshowercurtain.com?
No, it already there's somebody's product. It already exists. But hey, it is the #1. Even still, it's in the top 5, and that was a year ago. So I will be bringing the Social Shower Curtain back to social media Tulsa.
Wow, very, very cool.
That must have been the one that had my picture on it.
Of course. Of course. Well, the one with you and Miss Cynthia, of course.
Yeah.
Be the
That's it. Okay. Anybody else have any Google Plus thoughts and ideas for themselves or for advice for anybody else?
Okay, go ahead. I was going to say something, but go ahead.
I'm sorry. It's kind of going back to backtracking a little bit. We were talking about the YouTube videos, and you guys were talking about that you do a lot of YouTube video editing. Do you guys know of any editors that are good that would work for PCs? Because I don't have a Mac, so I can't use Final Cut Pro or anything like that. I'm sorry if it's kind of a random question, but I thought I'd ask the experts.
Is there Windows Movie Maker on your machine?
Yeah, I do have that, but it's very, very basic. Maybe I just don't know how to use it right. It doesn't seem very advanced.
Yeah, you might. I guess my advice, and I'll let everybody else jump in here. I would suggest that, or learning how to use that. I use iMovie on the Mac. I don't have Final Cut Pro. I use iMovie. It's just the very basic iMovie editor that comes with it. You might also look at recording a test video, uploading it to YouTube, and playing with the editor there. I'm surprised every time I look at it how powerful the YouTube editor is on the internet.
Mm-hmm. I like it. I mean, I think YouTube editor is good. There's another site called One True Media that I like to use, and I'll put the link in the chat. But One True Media, there is a free version, but I get the premium version, which is like $3.99 a month, and you can edit pictures together. You can do picture, video, music, and it's a really kind of WYSIWYG type video editor. And you can make videos out of photos. You can add photos and videos, and I usually just do stuff for me personally. I did the 2012 Social Media Tulsa recap video using that.
Okay.
And but you can do still shots video. You can edit a video within the series that you want to do. So I like One True Media. If you're looking for something that's easy and maybe not too, that's got some advanced features, but not too hard. Yeah.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Either one of those. Hey, Ruth Ann, what's going on?
She's back.
So Ruth Ann, before we leave, Ruth Ann, can you give us another little teaser, because you're going to be set up in the penthouse where Cynthia is performing. So you want to give us a little teaser of what we can expect when we get to the party?
Well, I would just say everybody dress to impress, and to come prepared to that you can share at the cocktail party, because we're going to be having an opportunity for everybody to just have a lot of fun generating content and sharing it with everybody and getting to know a lot of people.
What did you say before? Be prepared to bring what? I'm sorry.
Oh, be prepared to dress to impress and to have fun.
Okay, well.
Yeah. Okay, and so in Social Media Tulsa mode, that means dress casually and be camera ready.
Be camera ready.
Camera, smartphone, everything.
Exactly.
I never dress casually when I sing.
And Patrick's collar is popped, and his slideshow is telling you where to go for more information. And I have to thank the URL gods who sent the person who owns socialmediatulsa.com to me and offered it to me for $20, and I bought it. So
Wow.
Wow.
So you can,
Nice.
I know, he just found me on LinkedIn and said,
Wow.
hey, I've got it, and if you want it, make me an offer. And I said, how about $20? And he said, okay.
That's awesome.
Hey,
Yeah,
you know,
usually
so,
those offers start like $500 to $1,000.
Yes.
he said, make an offer. What am I going to do? I'm going to say I'll pay $20.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so coming to a website near you in the near future will be so. I mean, you can go there now, and it'll link over to .org because that's where the hosting is. But we'll have some fun with that as we go forward. But But thank you for the slideshow, Patrick. That's pretty awesome.
Not a problem.
Second to Angel's driving the car, entering the Hangouts. I think that's the next cool thing. But the driving and hanging out, that's got to be pretty cool.
That was the best part.
That was the best part. All right,
Now
guys.
you know what? Now I want to do a hangout from an airplane.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do that one-up game. Is what I want to do.
So everybody here, think about how we can do Hangouts. Patrick is going to be talking about Google Plus during the Social Media Tulsa conference. So if you go onto the website, you'll click on the agenda. In fact, I'll add it to the comments to see when Patrick talks. And you make sure you catch his talk. Hopefully you're not up against him. I don't think you are. But catch his talk. And then we need to talk about doing Google Plus Hangouts live from the conference. There's one thing I'm thinking about, and it's called Hack Social Media Tulsa. And so I'd like for people to be able to do whatever they want to do with the conference. And it'll probably be early in the morning, so we won't get too crazy. It'll be during the coffee hour. Right? So
Gotcha.
Stay tuned for that. But we definitely want to have some hangouts, and so we'll talk about how we do that and when we'll schedule some of those during the conference. So thanks everybody for coming. Thanks for putting up with us running a little late.
And everybody connect with everybody else on Google Plus and every place else too. Let's network. And do you have any other future Google Hangouts scheduled coming up, Cheryl?
I think we're going to do one every Thursday. So every Thursday leading up to the conference, we're doing a hangout. So just shum on.
Come on.
Oh, did I add the community here?
No, you did not.
I didn't. Okay, hold on. I'm going to do it now.
And by the way, while she's doing that, look back on the chat history there, and you're gonna find back about 6:22. I posted a cool video of Cynthia giving me props from last year's Social Media Tulsa conference. There's a video of her in front of the curtain, in front of the infamous shower curtain, giving Patrick props. I went and found that and shared that with everybody.
Okay, I said it was a hangout, but it's the community.
Okay.
So here, that's awesome. So you can look at the schedule, click on that top link, and then the second link is the community here on Google Plus. Join it. But I'll share the hangout schedule so everybody can just jump in, and maybe next week we'll just have a free-for-all so we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about.
Apple bottom jeans and boots with the fur.
Well, there it is. We can talk about that too. They still wear those. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm not gonna sing.
What's this used to stuff?
And this is usually how Social Media Tulsa conference ends, right? Everybody turns 12, and then we wrap it up.
I am definitely not going to sing because I want to keep my 5 friends. So we're going to skip that altogether.
Cheryl, I have one word for you.
Oh my gosh, really?
And there is where we have to end.